I've made burgers out of, I feel like, just about everything. I've tried every kind of concept I can think of for making burgers out of carrots, cauliflower, textured vegetable protein, tofu. I've made the Impossible Burger, the Beyond Burger. I have made more burgers than I could possibly imagine, but I haven't made an eggplant burger. Now, I'm only doing this because lately I've been doing quite a few eggplant recipes. This started with the Gordon Ramsay eggplant steak, which came out terrible. And then I was just testing and testing and testing, trying to come up with better ways to use eggplant in plant-based cooking, besides just making eggplant. Now recently I made a sandwich that was from not another cooking show, where it was like an eggplant sandwich, and it honestly was one of the best vegan sandwiches that I've made. I mean, it was so good. I'll leave a link for that video right here. But I just wanted to know, can I turn an eggplant into a nice, juicy burger, like an actual burger replacement? But instead of using textured protein and coconut oil fat pucks, we're gonna be using eggplant and soaked cashews. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna soak a cup of cashews overnight. We're gonna make sure that those get really nice and soft, because that's gonna be part of the texture. That's gonna be a little bit more of the firmer bite that you're gonna get in this burger. And then we're gonna prep our eggplant. First thing we're gonna do, let's drain our cashews. So once your cashews are soaked, go ahead and chop them up. You're gonna be mincing them into almost like the consistency of ground beef. And when you feel this, these soaked cashews should kind of have, like, if you were to close your eyes, they should have like a ground beef kind of feel to them. It just doesn't have like the sticky consistency that holds it all together. That's gonna be where the eggplant comes in. The eggplant's gonna be what kind of retains the juice and the fat. And it's gonna really, I think it's gonna come out awesome. I think it's gonna be like a really good burger. Then let's run our eggplant through a food processor. All we're gonna do is just chop off the top, chop off the bottom, and just process it. If you don't have a food processor, just use a cheese grater and just grate your eggplant into like nice chunks. It should come out like pretty nice. I'm thinking it's gonna work really well. So we're gonna use about 2 cups of the eggplant. Now with the cashews, we had about 1 cup of dry cashews that turned into about 1.25 cups of soaked cashews. Same type of concept here. It's like almost like a 1-to-1. We're gonna do a little bit more of the eggplant and just kind of mix this in. So the cool thing is the eggplant has tons of moisture in, so we're not gonna be adding a whole lot of moisture in it, but let's go ahead now and let's add our flavoring and our binders. Okay, so for the rest of this, we're gonna be using the textured protein burger recipe out of my book, The Making Vegan Meat, the Plant-Based Food Science Cookbook. It's available on Amazon. Click the link in the description below. I'm just kidding, you don't have to, but seriously, if you buy it, I love you. Leave a comment, let me know if you bought it. So, we're just gonna be following pretty much the recipe because this recipe works as far as binding and it works really well as far as flavor. And right now we have 2 ingredients that are not bound and they're kind of flavorless. So to get started, let's start with one of my favorite ingredients, methylcellulose. Methylcellulose is an incredible binder. You've probably heard me talk about it 1,000 times if you've watched me in the past, but if you haven't, methylcellulose is an incredible binder that firms when it's heated and it stays soft when it's not. So it's very similar to how real meat reacts. We're gonna do 2.5 tablespoons of methylcellulose in this mixture. And just to kind of help with the binding with the methylcellulose, since there's not gonna be any like starches in here, I'm gonna use 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum. I know I just said no starches, but no added starches. There's already starch in the eggplant. The xanthan gum is just gonna kind of help gelatize some of those starches a little bit. Now let's start with our flavoring. We're gonna be using about 1 teaspoon of mushroom seasoning. This is mushroom extract powder. You can find this at Asian markets or in my Amazon store. This stuff is like pure glutamate. You can also use MSG. This isn't MSG, this is mushrooms. But MSG and mushrooms both contain glutamate, which is the savory taste. That's why we're adding it to this. 2 tablespoons nutritional yeast, 1 teaspoon beetroot powder, 1 teaspoon cocoa powder, 1/2 teaspoon blackstrap molasses, 1 teaspoon soy sauce, 1/2 teaspoon liquid smoke, make it a full teaspoon, or 1 teaspoon vinegar, dash of onion powder, dash of garlic powder, and we're gonna add 3 tablespoons of water. And now let's mix this up. And I actually forgot, I wanna add about 1 teaspoon of olive oil. Now let's mix it up. Hey gang, real quick, let me tell you about today's sponsor, Bright Cellars. Now, Monica and I love trying new wines. It's exciting. You might get something that you're gonna end up loving. But it's a pain. You never know what you're buying. We buy based on the label. With Bright Cellars, they send you new wine every month so you can discover and find out what you enjoy the most. All you need to do is take their quick 7-question quiz. Bright Cellars gathers their taste preferences and matches you with wine that you are guaranteed to love. And I mean guaranteed. And it's not some froofy wine quiz. You don't need to know anything about wine. They just want to know, like, what's your favorite chocolate? How do you drink your tea? No need to go to the grocery store and waste money buying those bottles based on the label. They send it right to your door. And then each box comes with these really cool wine information cards for each bottle that outlines tasting notes, suggested pairings, and the best serving temperature. And today they sent me Folk and Fable Red Blend, the Terraform Red Blend, the Voyage Dans Levant, a bottle of Jumbo Sale Riesling, Forever Fleeting White, and a bottle of Dead Stars and Black Holes. Actually, this one sounds the most interesting. I'm gonna give this one a try. And that's good. I mean, that tastes really good. So gang, Bright Cellars is giving you, my followers, 50% off your first 6-bottle box. That is 6 bottles for $45. That is a crazy value. So gang, help support the channel by supporting my sponsors. Click the link in the description below, take the quiz, and get started today. You are going to love Bright Cellars. Okay, as you can see, this mixture is probably not, it's a little bit more crumbly than my normal burger mixture would be. It's not as wet, it's not as liquidy yet. But this eggplant holds a ton of moisture and it's actually kind of coming together pretty nice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of knead this mixture to kind of break up the eggplant a little bit and release some of that moisture. I don't think we need to add any extra liquid to this. I mean, if you do, it's not gonna hurt it, but I really don't think we're gonna have to. This seems like it's coming together pretty good, actually. I think we're gonna be good. Okay, so this came out perfect. It's exactly the way that I thought it was gonna come out. I'm pretty pleased so far with this experiment. Now I know methyl cellulose and those starches and gums, they all need a little bit of time to hydrate up. We just massaged them all in, so we kind of sped up that process a little bit. But I'm still gonna put a cover on this and just let it sit for about 20, 30 minutes, probably 30 minutes. The longer you let it sit, the more that methyl cellulose is gonna suck up and hydrate up and kind of like keep this bound together. So yeah, let's let this sit for about a half an hour. I'm excited about this. Okay, so this has sat for about a half an hour. I'm telling you right now, this is looking pretty good. I'm thinking it's looking pretty meaty if you ask me. I'm really excited about the way that this is coming out. So all I'm gonna do is just kind of wet my hands a little bit. We're gonna take a big scoop, you know, a meatball sized scoop of our burger mixture here, and then we're just going to make some flat burger patties. We don't want these to be too thick. We want them to be fairly kind of flat and kind of smaller, you know, think about your fast food patty, something like that. I think that looks pretty good. Now the cool thing with these burgers is you can make them ahead of time and freeze them and then just cook them when they're ready to go. Methyl cellulose, all that stuff's gonna last. And in fact, you know, when you freeze it, it might actually come out a little bit better than it will the first time around. We're gonna cook 2 of these and the rest of them I'm just gonna throw in the freezer because I'm pretty confident that these are gonna come out really, really good. I think they're gonna be awesome. We're just gonna season these up. It's gonna be really basic seasoning. We're just gonna do some kosher salt, some black pepper, and some garlic powder. We're gonna do that on each side, just a little bit of salt and black pepper on each side. Then we're gonna heat up a skillet with a little bit of oil. You wanna make sure there's enough oil in the pan to give these a nice crisp and enough oil to kind of be left over when you flip the burger. We're gonna flip them over after about 4 minutes on each side, and they should be good. I'm just gonna toss them on a bun with a little bit of ketchup. We're doing a taste test here, so we wanna make sure that we can taste and determine, is this a good burger? We just need to taste and see if these are actually good burgers. So baby, let's give them a try. I know I didn't tell you what this recipe was, but let's just see. Do they kind of taste like burgers, even the slightest?
Okay. Yeah, this is really good.
I love that.
Tastes like a burger.
I want to hear your opinions first before I say mine, because there are some. It's not perfect. It does have some great taste. It has a really good texture, but it has some texture things I want to talk about. First, let's give it your rundown. Taste?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it tastes great. It tastes like a burger. It's delicious.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, texture.
Texture is really good too. It definitely has the texture of a burger. It does have some chunkiness in it. So that's different.
Yep.
So I wouldn't say it's exactly like a burger.
Yep.
but the taste and the texture is still very close, except for some of the like chunky, I'm assuming like some sort of peanut or nut.
Yeah, it's a nut, it's a cashew. So I think that's the only thing that threw it off, and I'm wondering if like the cashew wasn't the best replacement, but I think you need something dense to hold it together and give the burger that bite that it needs.
The cashew's not hard, like it's softened up a little bit. So it's not like you're taking these like big nutty bites or anything like that. It's just a bit chunkier. That's all. What if you cut the cashew a little smaller next time?
But the cashew does kind of take away from it. The cashew is my least favorite part. The eggplant, with the flavoring and everything else, you can see the way the eggplant kind of like, when I tear it, the eggplant has like a very nice, meaty, kind of fibery consistency. I mean, it really...
Yeah, I love it. And you know me, I don't even really love eggplant. But I didn't even know this was eggplant.
It's eggplant. It's eggplant.
Oh, I can taste it now, but it's really good.
This was an experiment just to see if we can make an eggplant into a burger. Do you think it was successful?
Definitely. This was a very good, successful burger.
Yeah, I would say this is successful. I think it's very successful.
Yeah. And even though it doesn't taste just like a burger, you know, like it's still really good. So I would still have it and suggest it and keep making it.
Yeah, it's not like your normal meat burger, but it has like a nice meaty taste. It has a very nice meaty taste.
The chunkiness is kind of a good change.
Yeah,
you know?
it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
I like it.
I think this is a success. I think this is a win. I'm happy about it. That's it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hell yeah.